But I want to go back to the royal scandals now, Sophie, and these revelations that the former Prince Andrew used to have prostitutes coming to Buckingham Palace.
There are scandals, and then there are revelations so explosive they shake the very foundations of the monarchy. This is one of them. New bombshell claims allege that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the former Duke of York, was involved in what may be one of the most shocking episodes of royal misconduct ever linked to a serving royal during a trip funded entirely by British taxpayers. According to royal historian Andrew Loney, this was not diplomacy, it was excess on a royal scale. 40 women, a luxury five-star hotel, and a single week that, if the claims are true, could represent one of the most disgraceful misuses of public money in modern royal history. Now, as the walls close in and the palace finally appears to be taking decisive action, one question looms large: how did Prince Andrew fall this far? And what is still being hidden behind palace walls? Once hailed as the Queen's favorite son, Andrew's reputation has collapsed beyond repair. His royal duties have been stripped away, his honors erased. And even Royal Lodge, the sprawling 30-room Windsor estate he has long occupied, now hangs in the balance. But according to historians, this downfall did not happen overnight. Its roots stretch back decades. The story, Loney argues, begins in 2001 when Andrew was appointed the United Kingdom's special trade envoy. He was 41 years old, enormously privileged, and by Loney's account deep in the grip of a midlife crisis. Instead of embracing public service, the former prince allegedly treated the role as a license for indulgence. The most disturbing allegations center on an official visit to Thailand for the birthday celebrations of the Thai king, a trip fully paid for by British taxpayers. Yet, according to Loney, Andrew refused to stay at the British embassy, insisting instead on a lavish five-star hotel. He routinely extended official visits, with large blocks of private time, sometimes adding up to 2 extra weeks, a pattern said to have repeated on trip after trip. Then comes the most explosive claim of all. During just 4 days in Thailand, Loney alleges that 40 women were paid to visit Andrew's hotel suite. He says these claims were verified by multiple sources, including a Reuters correspondent and even a member of the Thai royal family. If true, the allegations paint a picture not just of personal misconduct, but of staggering entitlement, and raise deeply uncomfortable questions about what the palace knew, what it ignored, and how long this behavior was quietly tolerated.
And now there's these allegations that he had prostitutes in at Buckingham Palace and that his late mother did know about it. And these reports emerged from the author of the new book entitled Andrew Loney, a British author and historian who I spoke to in detail.
According to Loney, Andrew operated without moral boundaries. His sense of entitlement was absolute. Rather than using his role as trade envoy to serve Britain's interests, he allegedly used it to serve himself for pleasure, influence, and personal gain. Official trips were reportedly blurred into a mix of business dealings and private indulgence, all shielded by the cover of diplomacy. Charles, then Prince of Wales, is said to have warned against giving Andrew the role in the first place, is reported. Concern was blunt: Andrew would chase women and play golf instead of working. With the benefit of hindsight, that warning appears uncomfortably accurate. Perhaps most disturbing is Loney's claim that Andrew's behavior was not only known but enabled. Diplomats, aides, and royal staff allegedly looked the other way, some out of loyalty, others out of fear. Andrew was known for his temper, his relentless demands, and his complete refusal to accept the word no. Those who worked under him describe a man who treated public office as a personal entitlement, blurring every line between service and self-interest. Behind closed doors, he allegedly exploited every ounce of privilege that came with his title. But the scandal goes beyond private excess. According to Loney, Andrew also used his position to advance the financial interests of himself and those close to him. One businessman in particular, David Rowland, is reported to have benefited significantly from Andrew's access through the prince's interventions. Rowland allegedly secured high-level meetings and even a Middle Eastern banking license, yet many of the documents detailing these trips, deals, and interventions remain sealed inside government archives, out of public reach. What those files reveal may explain not only how Andrew operated for years without consequence, but why the full truth has yet to come out.
Teddy bears. He has like 40 teddy bears that have to be assembled and arranged perfectly. Staff are given a chart to arrange Prince Andrew's teddy bears on his bed every day. So there's quirky stuff, but there's also just stuff in there about how, especially in recent years since he's left the royal family, that he takes it out on staff because he is in isolation. He is in this sprawling property.
Loney calls it a conspiracy of silence, files that should have been released years ago yet remain sealed behind government doors, and the longer they stay hidden, the louder the questions grow. For years the palace attempted to contain the damage. There were quiet warnings, brief suspensions, and half-hearted efforts to keep Andrew out of the public eye. But now that era is over. King Charles has taken decisive action. Andrew has been stripped of his remaining royal honors and formally instructed to vacate Royal Lodge, a clear signal that tolerance has finally run out. And the Thailand trip was not an isolated incident. During Andrew's 2010 taxpayer-funded visit to Hong Kong, staff allegedly witnessed a steady stream of paid escorts being escorted directly to his top-floor hotel suite. While prostitution itself is legal in Hong Kong, organized procurement is not, making the claims particularly explosive given Andrew's official status, the public nature of the visit, and the fact that British taxpayers were covering much of the cost. The court circular paints a very different picture. It records a tightly packed schedule of business meetings, banking engagements, and elite social dinners across Hong Kong and mainland China in the weeks surrounding the alleged incidents. Yet behind the scenes, according to aides interviewed for documentaries and investigative books, Andrew's private behavior was an open secret. What makes these accusations especially damaging is the broader pattern they reveal. Former staff have long described a revolving door of women visiting Andrew's rooms during overseas trips. Loney portrays a man driven less by diplomacy than by compulsive sexual behavior, a pattern repeated across continents and years. Then there is the money. Investigators estimate that Andrew's flights, accommodation, and security during his decade representing the UK abroad cost roughly £4 million, with some individual trips exceeding £90,000 in travel expenses alone. Set against that backdrop, allegations of inappropriate relationships with well-connected figures in China and elsewhere take on even greater significance. Taken together, the claims point not to isolated lapses, but to a sustained abuse of privilege, one that was quietly tolerated for years and only now finally being confronted. Taken together, these allegations paint a deeply troubling portrait of a senior royal who treated official overseas missions as personal playgrounds, with the public left to pick up the bill. So, what happens now? Sources close to the palace say Andrew is clinging to what little remains of his former life, still defiant, still refusing to accept that the monarchy has moved on without him. He is described as increasingly secluded, isolated, and detached from reality. One source claims he has spent long stretches holed up inside Royal Lodge, passing the days playing video games. Friends say he is bitter, blaming everyone but himself for his downfall. But the king's patience has run out. Andrew's era of protection is over. There will be no quiet deals, no last-minute rescues, no more cover-ups or special treatment. This is the final reckoning for a man whose arrogance and entitlement ultimately consumed him. And yet the most chilling aspect of this story is not the scandal itself, it is the silence that surrounded it, because according to Loney, this behavior did not exist in isolation. It was part of a wider culture of indulgence, secrecy, and unchecked privilege, one that too few were willing to challenge. More bombshells may still be waiting to emerge, and if the monarchy hopes to survive in this new era of scrutiny, it must demonstrate that even its most privileged members are not above accountability. Andrew's story is no longer about royal glamour, public service, or ceremonial duty. It is about a man who believed the rules did not apply to him, and a system that allowed him to believe that for far too long. Once a representative of Britain on the world stage, he now stands as a symbol of everything the monarchy must leave behind if it is to have any future at all. The titles are gone, the home is next, the respect has already vanished. This is not a temporary setback, it is the complete dismantling of a legacy. So now I ask you, was Andrew's downfall inevitable? Should the palace unseal the trade envoy files and reveal the full truth? And after everything that has come to light, does he deserve any place in royal life? Again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you found this deep dive valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.